Brad Cox claim. I've always felt that Mios was a very talented horse. I was surprised nobody claimed him for 63 back, and then somebody claimed him for 80 last time out. He's inconsistent, but on his best days, I think he is the best horse in this race. The lack of pace absolutely concerns me with him. Perhaps he'll have a little more speed off the claim by Brax Cox, but I am concerned, like with everybody. The thing about the pace is, though, the pace setter Smooth B, he's not good enough to beat these horses
He's
on
not supposed
paper.
to
He
be
found
good
the
enough.
right field last time out, and you put him in the entry. And by the way, his entry mate can win as well, but I don't want this entry at a short price.
Okay.
You know, but I listen, I wouldn't take a definitive stand in this race. I mean, the one thing I'll say is that T Loves a Fight is not a winning type. Now, I understand that this barn won with a horse yesterday that never wins either, and it's interesting with the horse that won yesterday. He got the most fortunate bob maybe in the history of horse racing, and he also did it after hanging like an absolute chandelier.
I still think he got beat.
I thought he got beat,
yeah.
and then actually Lafitte's like he won, and I realized that he got probably the greatest bob I've actually literally ever seen in my entire life. And he just doesn't want to win. And horses that don't want to win, and T Loves a Fight's one of them, are not horses I want.
I'm with you.
We'll see
yeah, I
but
think
your horse doesn't like to win that often either, and my horse is
we talk about
unreliable.
this often. They're a streaky barn. That Carrick probably outran the form yesterday. I know it wasn't a great race, but she got second. And that horse, Smile Brian, one who doesn't win, I would keep an eye on the Nota barn.
Well, their horses didn't do any particular running yesterday. They just got kind of fortunate. And Smile Brian, on paper, had a chance to win. He just doesn't win.
Yeah.
Race number 2, Anthony has done something that he said he would not do.
I promised I wouldn't.
Anthony lied on Talking Horses.
I did.
Anthony, just say it.
I lied.
You lied.
I lied.
Okay.
I lied. I was fully.
The ice cream man lied.
I promised.
And he lied. Let's, however,
I promise.
go to the videotape.
All right, so we're going to the videotape.
And take a look at Quick Return, who's probably supposed to be favored in this race.
Yes.
Run the fastest figures. He came back. He hung. He had did a little chandelier. I don't know what happened to sound.
Little chandelier.
Do we lose sound here, guys? The PA just seems to have gone off in the building.
10.5-month layoff.
Not sure if there's a sound issue, but the PA seems to have gone off.
Yeah, you can't hear us throughout the building. I don't know if you can hear us on TV, but if you can. Source is coming off a 10.5-month layoff. And Daggerboard, who was not not going to scare anybody away, just holds this horse at bay for a good, I don't know, eighth of a mile. Are you going to hold the race against him off 10.5 months? No. You're going to hold the fact that he couldn't get by a horse. He had Dan Amon for an eighth of a mile or so. He can win. Like you, I thought there were a couple of more interesting alternatives, and I don't want him at a short price, Andy, off that race.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. So I told Anthony the last time Arms and Armor picked and ran, and he made a horrible pick of him, and you deserve a little abuse for that.
I fully agree. I was ready for this today.
And you said to me,
that's why I wore the jacket.
I won't ever pick the horse again. And I said, yes, you will, because next time he runs, he'll be in a maiden claiming race, and we'll pick him. Because
you said he'll run a maiden 40 at Saratoga is what you said. You were 1,000% right.
Lo and behold, he's there. And Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire over here picked him. I got to tell you, at first, I was a little disappointed when I looked at your selections and I saw you picked him, and then I said no.
You know
I'm
me
going to
so
have
well
so
at
much
this
fun
point.
abusing Anthony about picking this horse. But at the end of the day, the reality is he is very quick. He just managed to find two of the toughest New York bred maiden special rate fields you're going to, until, of course, the second horse, Writer's Edge, beat a horse I picked and ran a 90-plus buyer in his next start. He's now in the right field. He's the clear speed. There's really 3 horses in here. There's Arms and Armor wiring the field. There's Clear Humor, the second-time starter. And we'll take a look at George Wee with his stats. Does not have great numbers overall with his maiden special weight to maiden claimers in the dirt. For what it's worth, he's 1 for 4 at Saratoga. He's 4 for 15 with a negative ROI, second-time starters. One of these 3 is supposed to win. I think you and I saw the race the same, Anthony. Not to speak for you, but we took
exactly
the speed dropping down.
Yep.
The 6 right one. And the thing is, the 8 is the horse to beat.
No question about it. But he's had a couple of chances.
And there's a couple of fuzzies.
He's had a couple of chances. He's ran for the tag already. The other 2 haven't. Absolutely right. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I'm just hoping that Arms and Armor gets me some of my money back and goes wire to wire. Despite the abuse.
How much will you have to bet at 3 to 1?
No, you think?
Don't tell me he'll pain me.
No.
I'll just be in agony thinking about it.
I didn't have to bet a lot the last 2 times. It was a big price.
Race number 3. There's no question in race number 3 that the horse to beat is the 6 Chocolate Cookie for trainer Todd Pletcher. And we'll take a look at his win at Belmont last time. He runs as well as he did in this race. He's going to win. Todd actually has, and I didn't put it up because the horse will be short, 180 days off on a turf route. He's 20 for 90, 22%, 257 ROI. On the other hand, at 22%, with this horse, you're not going to make money.
No.
He figures to stalk Dixie Cannon, who doesn't look, at least to me, to be good enough. He just figures to be the horse to beat in here. I'm not against him, but like you, we each took a shot against him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. And like you said, he figures to have a much better setup and be a lot closer than he was last time. Than she was last time, rather. I'm sorry. She exploded last time. And I know she got a pretty good setup that day, but she really made up a lot of ground late. You figure she's going to have a lot less work to do. You always worry about, I always worry anyway, about the layoff. This horse was scratched a couple of times off the turf, and I would imagine this horse is going to be a lot closer today. Yeah, it just looks like the other speed in here. And there's a couple of instances over the weekend where it just looks like the classier individual is going to get the right trip off of the speed that doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it done. And this is one of them. I just don't know. She's 8 to 5 morning, 9 to 5 morning line. You got to figure she's going to be shorter.
Giacosa?
Well, Giacosa has been running. I think she's been running well.
Really? You thought she ran well last time? I thought she did not.
Okay. I thought she's been running well. She had a little trouble at the start last time, just a little bit. And it really wasn't her own. They kind of sandwiched her a little bit, just a little bit, a little out of yourself.
Anthony,
and I'm hoping the Jimmy Bond horses take off like they did last year. And that's it.
That's why you picked her.
But you know where I was coming to? Yeah, of course.
But that's why you picked her.
Of course. Yes, I want to get in on the ground floor if I can. She'll be the second choice.
I hope they wake up.
Yeah, I think they will.
I like them.
I think they will.
I don't disagree. The horse could obviously win. I'm not sure what to do with Classic Colors. At the end of the day, Classic Colors may have beaten a weak field back in late April at Belmont Park. But I thought actually ran pretty well in doing it. Last time out, that was a much, much tougher field. And not only were those horses borderline stakes quality horses in there, but a horse lost the rider on the backstretch. And this horse was affected by it. I don't know that it took her out of the race because I don't think you can make the argument it necessarily took her out of the race. But she never lifted a hoof after that. Now, maybe she's just not any good, and that's why she didn't lift a hoof, in which case she won't be competitive in this race. But maybe she was really negatively affected by it in there, and she ran so poorly that I want to give her another chance, and I thought her price would be fair enough. So she's my alternative. I don't have a problem with your horse. I'm teasing you about the other stuff. She can absolutely win in here. I'll use Classic Colors, Chocolate Cookies, Doors to beat. I really didn't want anybody else in here, Anthony.
Me either. I'm not a Classic Colors fan. I know she ran against better, like you said last time. I just didn't like her effort.
No, I'm not overly confident.
Yeah.
We seem to have PA issues because I think it's dropped out again.
It has dropped out again, yes.
And we apologize for that. Hopefully people are able to hear the show at home. Hopefully for some of you, you aren't able to. Race number 4 at 1 3/8 on the turf. You know, I'm wondering if we should take a break. Should we take a break, Steve, and maybe try to do something about that? Okay. We apologize on track. There's no reason to apologize. You can't hear it. The 4th race.
Just jump on your Naira Bets account. Oh, there we go.
There we go. We're back. In and out. So race number 4. Let's start out with Angelou. And now use Can't Leave. Angelou is the absolute speed in here. She got wired by Miss Delicious in a slow pace last time. I think on first glance at this race, Anthony, I was going to pick her. But at the end of the day, even though she's the controlling speed, and Todd's other horse will probably be riding shotgun in here, the number 2 Endless Front, who doesn't look, at least to me on paper, good enough, I don't think she's that good. I think she was aided by the pace last time out, and I just feel like there are better horses, and they'll be close enough that it'll probably beat her in here. But I will say, on the inner turf course yesterday, I think the inside was a bit of an advantage. If you watch the races, so being the inside speed in all likelihood will help her a great deal. I just didn't love her as a horse.
See, it's funny, you and I looked at this a little differently.
I'm sure we did. We look at every race.
I thought Endless Front was going to be going to the lead today. With the inside draw, the blinkers on, I thought maybe she would go, because the truth of the matter is, Angelou, I know Miss Delicious wired her, but she didn't really go after her early. She just kind of let her lope along on the front end. And
so then Angelou will probably run last.
And that's part of the reason I don't really like Angelou. I think they're going to put Endless Front on the front
significantly slower
end.
than her goes to the lead, then the 7 Angelou will be a complete and total non-factor in this race. Okay. I would have picked her 9th if I in a
Yeah, that's why I put a third.
We
I
disagree
think she's
already.
Yeah.
But somehow agree on the race.
Right.
The number 5, Flaming Rouge, she is the horse to beat in this race. At the end of the day, she probably comes out of the best race. I thought she ran well in here, and I think she's the horse to beat.
Yeah, she ran well enough first time in this country. She came back. You always worry about a little bit of a regression. She didn't. She actually ran as good, if not better.
Christophe Clement's better when he has European, when he has foreign shippers with time here. So actually, I wasn't worried about that.
And she took a tough beat here. I mean, I know it's 3 parts of a length, but she did an awful lot of running in this race. Winner was better, yeah. But she still ran a winning. She still put forth a winning effort. Was able to hold the place money. Yeah, I mean, no real knocks other than the fact that she's going to be a short price, and she's had a couple of chances already. She can absolutely win the race, though. If you're playing multis, you're definitely using her on your tickets. At least you should be.
I'm sure there's some idiots on Twitter that don't think you should. But then again, there's a plethora of them. The one Balacola, we'll take a look at the last half mile of her race at Tampa Bay. Why'd you pick her, Anthony?
So I've never seen more horses go to a place.
Stat, by the way, please.
I've never seen more horses go to a place and get rides for one of the leading trainers in the planet, like Chad Brown, than these horses get over at Tampa Bay Downs.
She's the number 8, who's last in your picture on the outside.
There's never a chance to save any ground. I mean, just no effort. Just keep these horses 4 or 5 wide. And look, I understand trying to think you're on the best horse.
This is a much tougher field than she was in.
It absolutely is, but she's going to get some more ground now, obviously. She gets what I think is an advantageous inside draw. She gets a rider change to a Rat Ortiz Jr. She was entered a couple of times at Keeneland, came off once. She was entered at least once at Keeneland.
I think you're right.
And you
yeah,
know,
but that was 3 months ago.
Yeah, but no, she's had a half a dozen works up here at Saratoga.
I was going to try to hold off on this, but anyway, one of the things that interested me about this horse was that I looked up this stat, and in long-distance turf races, Chad Brown has exceptional numbers. He's not only winning with 30% of them; they're not horses that are paying $4. They're horses that are paying almost $8, which is a lot for him. So I thought it was interesting. In second time stars, he's 5 for 17 with a 344 ROI and 11 of them hitting the board. So it seems when Chad Brown stretches horses out in turf maiden races that he really is good at it. He knows the ones that want to go longer. And I agree with you, this horse got, I mean, I'm not sure that it's totally Gallardo's fault last time. Then again, as you said, he seems to have given a lot of
They get the same ride.
So many of these mediocre rides that it can't always be the horse.
Right.
And I agree, this horse, that's why I showed more of it, was out in left field during the running of the race. And Reina del Sol improved dramatically from any race she'd ever run in the past. And I agree, I think she can improve. I'm going to be mostly 1-5 in this race.
Me too.
Listen, the truth is that Fortuna, I think she'll be a little okay. And I think Lachine is not impossible either. She got in a little bit of traffic last time out down the inside. I don't think she's impossible either. I think this was a pretty open race. I think there's a lot of horses that can win in here.
I didn't think Now You Can't Leave was impossible either. Just kind of racing herself into shape. A couple of mile and 16th races at Belmont. Now going a mile and 3/8 up here.
It's the difference between you and I. I had dinner with Rob Maciel the other night. I don't want you to be too jealous.
No.
But I don't feel any need to suck up to his horses on the show.
I absolutely
You, on the
don't.
other hand, it must be the Grappa. See, there was no Grappa where we were. And so it must be the Grappa that makes you feel a need to always mention
hold
his
on
horses.
a second.
Even though you have the horse fourth.
You won yesterday.
Yeah, I'm 77. I told you, I'm getting to 100 in Saratoga.
You're not getting to 100 in Saratoga.
I'm getting to 100.
I'll take.
And the line is off the board. It's like 1 to 9.
I'll take 2, 6 over 8.
Okay, I'll take 1.
No, I'll take 2.
No, 1.
I'm giving you the better of it. I'm 8 to 1. You're 6 to 1.
I said I'll take 1. If you want none, it's none or 1.
All right, go ahead. I'll take the 1.
Just because you're down so much doesn't mean it's got to be bigger.
That's been the standard.
And I'm going to really slow.
You proposed 2
Move
yesterday.
it to 100 slowly.
You
I don't want
proposed
to
2
get
yesterday.
there too fast. I want to get there slow. I want it to be
good.
like 93, and you'll be saying, "Oh, we're never getting to 100." I want to draw the pain out,
good.
Anthony. Race number 5. Race number 5.
Race number 5.
At a mile and an eighth. Number 5. Who'd you pick here?
My man Wayne Potts.
Oh, you and Wayne have a nice chat about this horse?
No, not a word.
Really?
No.
Not a word.
Not a word.
Not a word.
Not a word.
Okay, because your nose just got a
Not a
little
word.
bigger. I don't
Not
know.
a word.
Did you guys notice that? I saw.
You know, you're awfully concerned with my looks today.
No,
The
it's
nose,
just-
the jacket.
I'm very concerned with your looks, Anthony. When you don't have much to start with, I don't want to see him going quickly.
It's starting to remind me of when we first met.
So what do we like? I picked him third. What do we like about this one?
I like the horse stretching out. I like
Okay.
the horse getting around 2 turns. This horse has won 2-turn race way back in February of last year behind against much better horses. I know
She's a
horse
better
beat a
horse
pole.
back then, though, Anth.
Well, yes and no. I don't know if I don't
She ran an
disagree with
82
that.
by her next start.
But
She was also in Jorge
hold
Navarro's
on.
barn at the time.
Hold on a second. Let's take her. If
You're
you
in
take her
dreamland.
PPs apart, she was in over ahead in the Maiden Beauty race when Eddie DeLauro claimed her. She was in over ahead in the Maiden Beauty race. She was in over ahead in the claiming championship day in the Sis City.
She was 15 lengths over her head?
Listen, she runs behind Daria's Angel. Then they sprint her. Last time they stretched her out when Flat Awesome Jenny ran like she was
Pecan
shoovy.
Patty.
Say again?
She finished
That
ahead
was-
of Pecan Patty, who scratched out of this
Yeah,
race
but
last.
she's also second for Wayne, and she ran the best race she had run in an awful long time
I don't
on a fast
disagree.
track.
I've got her third, Anthony.
Yeah,
Give me a hard
I
time.
like her a lot today. Part
A
of the
lot?
reason
And there was no Wayne Potts
not a
conversation.
word. Part of the reason
Wayne?
I like her,
cover for him.
Andy, is because who do you trust in
Oh
here?
no, Anthony, I'm with you. I don't love any.
Who do you right? So
I'm with you.
if you think she's going in
And
the right
with the
direction,
7 scratching, one of the speeds came out of the race, which helps her chances.
Yes.
She's probably stalking Gringotts, but Jose may be more aggressive than Dylan Davis, and if so, he could clear the lead.
that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping she's on the
now
lead today.
he's hoping she's on the lead.
No.
So no, we didn't get there yet, right?
We didn't get
You
there
had
yet.
a minute, 3 minutes to discuss
that was
Okay.
the other thing.
So now
she
she's
comes
the
out of
speed.
some faster races, and I would hope, because it looks like Gringotts is going to go, and Gringotts is inside of her, so it would make sense for her to sit off of Gringotts. I would rather be aggressive and get in front. But I think,
Well,
in my
we know he's
opinion,
rather people are aggressive and get in front.
Yeah,
Anthony, that goes without
but
saying.
worse comes to worse, she's sitting the 2 hole to Gringotts.
She could definitely win, and I don't disagree. She woke up a little bit last time out.
Yeah, I like her a lot today. And part of the reason I like her a lot is because I don't trust
I'm not
the
sure
rest
you're
of
supposed to like anybody a lot in this
Okay.
race, but have at it. Seeds of Time for Danny Gargan, who, by the way, is 4 for 8, dropping 50% off the claim on the dirt. And I think Danny Gargan is somebody that we really have to discuss. And this is 2 back when the horse galloped for Jerry Hollendorfer at Oaklawn before bombing last time out. The horse was claimed, and is a claim that ran badly, and now a layoff of 2.5 months. Danny Gargan, as you accurately pointed out in New York, was completely dead, which is unusual for Danny.
Yep.
I mean, like a lot of trainers, streaky at times, but Danny's a guy who wins high percentage, and he had a big early part of the year, and he was bad. It's going to be very interesting this first weekend to see how Danny does, because Danny has a significant number of live horses tomorrow, Sunday, especially for a guy who doesn't run a zillion horses. So for him, he's got a lot of live
There's a
horses.
cluster, yes.
And it'll be interesting because Danny's a guy who knows how to win. And you look at these horses, and part of you says Danny's pointing to get off at Saratoga and win some races early. On the other hand, doing that and getting off and winning those races are not always the same thing. But
Best laid
it'll be
plans.
interesting to see how it works out because his barn has been very, very chilly.
Yes.
And I think Seeds of Time will be an interesting horse to look at today as we move to the weekend. Whether the horse wins or not, but will the horse run reasonably well?
I agree with you. And here's the other part of it.
You have to use this horse.
I almost gave you a here's the thing. Here's the other part of it. Sources in for 12.5 was claimed for $25,000. The pot's $36,000. So it's just shy of $20,000 to the winner. Essentially, they're saying that she is worth more winning than she is her claiming tag. That's not always how this game was played. It gives you, if you make a quote-unquote bad claim or a
It gives you an out,
disvalued
but
claim,
the
it gives you a
the
big
reality is that claiming and dropping significantly is always a red flag. I don't care what anybody says; it's always a red
I
flag.
don't think it's as red a flag as it used to be because
That's
because
fine,
it gives
but
you
the reality is, Anthony, if we followed all these horses that we talk about and we do this BS about here's the purse and here's this and the yak, which
it's
we
a
do
more
all
often
along.
than not going to work out.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
I
so
agree.
be very careful to
I
ever
agree.
suggest it's not somewhat of a negative, especially at a short price, is a fallacy. On the other hand, like anyone, you're not going to leave this horse out.
No.
I'm sure there's people on Twitter that will be leaving it out, and they think they should, and they're also broke. I like the 2 Yes, I'm Evil a little bit. I don't like
best.
anybody strongly in here. The reality is I'm not a guy who looks at big dirt figs, off the turf figs, and likes them. I thought that figure 2 back was actually legitimate, that 78. Horse draws well on the inside. doesn't have any speed on paper, but I can't imagine from the rail in here that Joel won't get more forwardly placed.
Some position.
I don't agree with the pace projector in here. I don't think this horse ran that badly last time out, and I thought would get good position. I have no problem with your 1. I would use the 1, 2, and 6.
My only problem with her, and I thought about her for a long time before I ultimately leaving her off the board, that figure is such an outlier to the rest of her form.
Well, it isn't. It isn't. I don't know. She's got other figures that are approaching 70, and sometimes I don't feel like there's that big a swing. It's not like your horse is in great form.
No,
it's
that's
not
true.
like I trust the 6. So.
It's hard to really.
Horse I don't
really
want
like her.
in
It's
here.
hard to knock anybody.
Horse
in
I
here.
don't want in here that's going to take money is the horse you have 3rd. Absolute Love. I could be wrong.
Okay.
That's the one I don't really like. I don't.
There's the stat.
Yeah. Oh, there's the stat. For what it's worth, off of wins and dirt routes, Joe Sharp does not have particularly good numbers in these situations, and this is a horse who that last fig sticks out like a sore thumb. And even looking at it, it looks to be 4 or 5 points high. Now, even if it's 4 or 5 points high, doesn't mean it can't win here.
Right.
But anyhow, that's the first half of the card. Get excited. You've still got 5 races to go. The late pick 5, after we hear from our good friends at Saratoga Water.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
We're back, the Good Humor Man and Andy Serling, for the second half of Talking Horses, the late pick 5.
Is
by
this
the way.
what they wore? I don't see. I'm not a good humor guy. I mean, I wasn't around for the truck. I was a Mr. Softy guy.
You ever see Trees Lounge?
Sure. While ago.
It's a relatively old movie. It's a good movie. Steve Buscemi.
Fantastic movie.
That ice cream truck. He directed that movie, right?
I believe so.
Excellent.
Filmed that in a village?
It's an excellent movie, by the way. No, it's out in Long Island.
Say again?
It's out in Long Island. It's filmed in
Long
Long
Island?
Island. Yeah. Friend of mine's in it, actually. Anyhow, race number 6. It's number 6. Let us go and look. By the way, how did we not notice the first time that November Rain, the Guns N' Roses song, was running against Can't Hurry Love, the 2 songs together in the race? Isn't that kind of cool?
Wow. And they're doing it again. Rematch.
I like that. Anyhow, November Rain ran very well. Anthony's top selection. My top selection was Can't Hurry Love. Can't Hurry Love, you couldn't hurry her this time,
No.
that's for sure. On the other hand, November Rain was hurried. November Rain ran well, and I don't have an issue that probably the right one watching the race. I don't agree. I think Can't Hurry Love ran like a horse that just so clearly needed a race. Broke slowly in there, was extremely green way back, and I think this horse just ran by them all by a pole in the gallop out. And I know I'm not Mr. Gallop Out either, but I really think that Can't Hurry Love just had absolutely no idea what she was doing first time out. There's no way, I think, not no way, it's unlikely she'll be super far back, and I think you'll see a much more professional performance. The question is, what will she do against firsters? And that's true about November Rain as well.
I got to tell you, I didn't see anything.
Tell me, please.
None of these firsters jumped off the page at me.
Not the $500,000 practical joke for Todd Pletcher? That didn't jump off the page to you?
It's just the one work. I mean, the one work from the gate last time. And I'm not a big fan of the last work being the gate work. They win. I'm not a big fan of it. I understand $500,000. That's fine. We've seen plenty of big price tags go down here in Saratoga.
I know, but it's Todd Pletcher.
It is.
And it's his first 2-year-old, I think, of the meet. And it's a $500,000 practical joke, and the practical jokes have been running. You don't have the horse in the top 4.
No.
Okay.
I don't like the horse.
Anthony left the building today.
Oh, I left the building
You left
on a
this
horse that has a lackluster work tab, one work that's going to be no better than third choice. I don't like the horse. No, listen.
You think leaving these horses out of multi-race bets is good or bad over the long term? Now, by the way,
I think this is tough to ascertain.
Well, I don't think either one of our horses ran so well first time out that you don't have to be worried about first-time starters in here. You obviously feel very, very differently about that.
I do.
You may be right.
None of these firsters really jumped off. The firster I would be most interested in would be the one Rigby. Left her off. She's a
Why
half to
her?
a horse that was a turf horse.
Why are you in most interested in her? She's a turf horse. You love those brethrens.
I'm sorry?
The horse you have third. Whoa.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Usually we
Lost my
bring the
videos.
hot air.
Put him on camera. Let him talk about why he has the 10 third in this race. I have to do a little housekeeping.
Well, a
around
little
here.
Saratoga Chrome now, talking about the last work being the gate work. Okay, that's the case for the 2-letter Inspire You. It's the case for the 5 Tough Street. Saratoga Chrome has the gate work 2 back, little maintenance half mile down at Belmont last time out. I like that work tab. Tony Dutro's having a good year. I like that work tab better than the other 2 firsters that I think can run well in here. And she's going to be, in all likelihood, 3 or 4 times the price than the Pletcher or the Brown first-time starter. So I went with the 10 Saratoga Chrome to get a little value underneath.
Ran into the connections of that horse the other day. They thought the horse had a little ability, but probably needed more distance. I'm a little circumspect about the 2, Let Her Inspire You. But I think the horse will probably be a runner. Todd's horses in these situations usually are in Saratoga. I'm also going to use the 5 Tough Street, a first-time starter for Chad Brown. But that horse could be a little bit interesting for Mike Dubb as well. So I would use the 4 and 7, but I'm going to put them sandwiched around the 2 and 5. I tell you what, you want to bet a lunch? I'll take the 4 over the 7.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a rare top pick lunch bet. We never do this.
Race number 7. I'm not betting any lunches in this race. Let me ask you a question about race number 7. Do you think the race got a lot different? Well, let's start out with Too Sexy, because Anthony can't resist Joel Rosario and Christophe Clement, even though the horse is 1 for 8 with 4 seconds. And doesn't that worry you a little bit with this horse?
Yeah, sure. Of course it worries me a
She's
little
going to be a
bit.
short price.
Does worry me a
Draws
little bit.
rail, that helps.
Well, I think you were going to say something.
No, well, there's a reason. We'll get to it.
Okay. Yeah, I felt like last time, I think Honey Pants is a nice enough turf sprinter.
She's a horse to beat. I'm not.
You know, I do like betting Joel and Christophe in these turf sprints. I do.
She draws the rail. She'll probably get a good trip. I worry she doesn't like to win. That
could be
bothers
right.
me about her, but I'm not against her. What concerns me is, and I don't like this, to be honest with you. Now, I don't know if this is why Spinny Yarn scratched. Enter them MTO if you're not going to run them if the race stays on the turf. And she looked like an MTO to me. Now, maybe something happened, and I don't want to be too hard on them. Maybe she got sick or, didn't pass the vet or something. But because with the 5 in the race, this horse, Miner's Queen, was going to have a hard time winning this race.
And now she's not.
And now it really changes the race dramatically, and it's hard sometimes to change your picks late. But as we take a look at Miner's Queen winning last time out at Churchill, I mean, she's gone.
And like you said, you don't want to, who wants to go doing this at 10:15, especially up here where people are, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to do stuff like this. But this scratch, I mean, I thought she was a player before the scratch. She's gone now. And these 5.5 furlong races up here, she could put 3 on them when they hit the turn, and this thing could be history. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if she puts 3 on them, but
I wanted to use it to begin with.
She has to be used.
I wanted to be used to begin with, but now you almost feel like, I don't know if she's the horse to beat, but
no,
she certainly
two is
has
the horse
right
to beat,
run of the
but
race.
she's right there, and she ran well last time. The
Yeah.
reality is, she runs her last race. She's going to be tough in here.
Yep.
And, she chased a quick pace on a course, a lot of give in it at Keeneland, in Churchill, at Kentucky Downs. I got her in the third one. At least I didn't say Ellis third.
Those go to Ellis. Those 6.5 furlong
They're like
races at
9
Kentucky
furlongs.
Downs, they don't even play like
I have to bet a horse in
sprints.
this race.
Okay.
I have to bet the 7, Madam McLean. And I'll tell you something. Madam McLean, when she broke her maiden here last year, they weren't killers. I don't disagree. But I think she ran well enough to be competitive in this field. And she wasn't in a turf sprint that year after that race. And then I didn't think she got the best of rides last time. I think if you're going to ride a horse like her and you have early position, you got to keep early position in turf sprints. And it's not like she was backing through the field. And I felt like she could have gotten a better. And the chart bears out the shuffled back, et cetera. Gets the switch to Patty Reynolds. Done some good work down in New York. I think she's an interesting horse. She's a bit of a price. I don't love her chances. Normally these are the kind of horses I put second and third, but I don't want to put too sexy on top at a short price when she's got one win in 4 seconds. I might have put the 4 on top if I had known the 5 wasn't going to run, and I had suspicion she wouldn't run, but that's a problem. I think Rivendell's not impossible in here. I certainly could have gone 7-2-4 in here, 7-4-2. Rivendell actually ran okay last time. That Minone is pretty good that beat her.
It's funny. The scratch affects the race because for me, I would have probably used Rivendell and gotten rid of Mumbai because Mumbai was the horse that I thought might get. Well, I thought she might get the better trip, but now she goes from sitting behind the 2 speeds to having to do. You would imagine the dirty work chasing Miner's Queen. I'd much rather have her just trying in the catbird seat. Now, you know, she's her job has completely changed. She's probably the horse after Miner's Queen affected most by the scratch because she went from a garden setup on paper to having to do a little bit more heavy lifting now.
Yeah, you and I disagree about this. I think that when another speed scratches, she becomes the horse stalking. I think it helps her chances. I don't really like that horse, but she's certainly not impossible in this spot. I will not disagree with that whatsoever. Interesting race, number 7.
Very much so.
Race number 8. Race number 8. 6 furlongs. Interesting race.
Oh, man.
What?
Boy, am I going to hear this.
What? What's the problem?
I have no Lee.
You know what's worse about you sucking up to Rob Masiello earlier is you sucked up to Rob, and now you just bounced your boy Lee Einseidler. Oh, that's why Lee annoyed me with a text this morning. You know, I got to reblock him in my phone.
No.
Life was so much better when I had
Lee's the best.
Lovely, I agree. I only make fun of people I like.
I know that. I tell that to people.
You can't make fun of people you don't like.
I do the same thing.
So, who's the horse to beat? Is it this horse, Easy to Bless, who's on a big rush? 4 straight wins in 5 of the last 6, and 5 straight dirt races for Easy to Bless. So why are we picking against this horse, or why am I picking against this horse?
Well, I picked against her too. Maybe we're just 2 knuckleheads. And the fact that
we are 2 knuckleheads.
She just bounces from barn to barn, and she just keeps winning. You kind of feel like last time, is she going to get things as easy as she got them last time?
She's not supposed to. If Manny isn't aggressive.
She's not supposed to.
If Manny isn't, I mean, I don't think she got him that easy. But
I think she got him easy enough, and the fact of the matter is, she was looking for somewhere to lay her head the last 16th of a mile. So, you know, sometimes these horses have these big runs. Now, in her defense, she has almost 2 months between that race and this one
She's
today.
The horse to beat, but this horse, Patty H, on the outside, I know it was a sloppy track last time, but it's not as though that race was an aberration for the other races she's run. She was running fast races down at Gulfstream Park, and she kind of looks like shipped up here for a reason. And if these, I'm not saying that they're going to go 21-3, 44-4, but if these 2 horses aren't at some point engaged in this race, what's the point?
No point. There's got to be some company on the front end in here.
Yeah, what's the point here? If racing isn't going to be competitive, if racing is decided before the horses leave the gate, then what's the point? And it just feels like they're going to go. And you have taken Candy Ginger. Why do you like her?
I went to a horse that hasn't seen him fast track since September of last year, so we're looking at 2 months. She's a perfect 3 for 3 last year. She won a restricted stakes, one restricted, 1 listed stakes down at Lone Star in Remington. She was a perfect 3 for 3.
The L. Gaylord Memorial?
The L. Gaylord Memorial.
Who's had the trophy for that?
Her fast track races and her figs, as a 2-year-old, if you give her improvement, I'm sorry.
Has Steve Asmussen won 20 races since yesterday, by the way, to become the leading trainer of all time?
I don't think so. It'd be cool if he does it.
Eligible to win 20 on any given day.
Absolutely. So she catches a wet track off the break. She runs on turf last time out, and now she's in here for the 40. And listen, yeah, she's a 2-time stakes winner. You want her for the 40, you could take her for the 40. They'll take the $75,000 between the win end if she gets the money and the claim price, and they'll be more than happy to turn her over today. I just think she makes a lot of sense getting back to
How do you know they'll be more than happy?
Track.
Maybe they'll be unhappy.
Say again?
Maybe they'll be unhappy. Maybe they love her. Maybe she's the barn pet.
Maybe.
I agree with everything you said, and I think she's a major player in here. I don't need to have the same horse you do on top. I'll take Malibu Luna for Lee Einseidler, because I'm a real friend.
And that Bill Mott guy.
Because I'm unlike you, I'm a real friend.
You know, I saw a train with Bill this morning at Mornings at Saratoga. Forzadoro.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, your horse. He's back.
Yep.
Good. I can't wait. I hope he runs soon. Where's the Dioro? Very nice Bill Mott horse. He undefeated? No, he
No.
lost. He lost the race at Belmont, but he ran really well. As far as Malbaluna, obviously she has to get faster. But apropos to what Anthony was talking about with Candy Ginger, it's the first race on the dirt as a 3-year-old, and my problem with her is she really wasn't very good last year. She really wasn't. I don't need the same horse as you, to be honest. That's why I didn't pick the 2. I originally was going to pick the race 2-5. You pick the 2 on top. I'll just give. I was thinking, should I pick the 5 on top? Should I pick the 2 on top? So with you picking the 2 on top, I moved it to 5-2. They're the 2 horses I want to use. I like the 2 for the reasons that you said. And this horse is not dissimilar either. Got a total prep on the turf last time out. And I'm going to hope she improves from 2 to 3, dropping down. She's no superstar, but maybe in this field, the 6 and 8, they're the horses to beat.
Think that price can hold up? I don't think that price can hold up, right?
Why would not Malbaluna not be a big price near?
No. I'm talking about Candy Ginger. Yeah, you'll be a big price.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe Candy Ginger will be 5 to 1. She's not going to be 3 to 1.
Yeah.
Race number 9, the Forbidden Apple. And speaking of scratches, big scratch in here of the number 6, Flying Scotsman. And I'm sure that made Jimmy Bond very happy.
Very happy.
We'll take a look at value proposition and Therapist running 1st and 3rd last time out. The good news for value proposition is he has speed. So even though Rinaldi is now loose in this race, he can put himself in position behind that one. But I think they need to ride him early and make sure Rinaldi has to run a little bit, because I don't think they want it to bunch, because value proposition is a horse that can get a little rank, and I think you want to get him to move a little bit early so you create some separation, and I don't think you want to let this race get away from him. And he's the horse to beat. He's 4 for 4 in allowance races and 0 for 4 in stakes.
Yeah. I would imagine he's a very frustrating horse because he looks like he has all the talent in the world, and then once you put him in the stakes company, it's if you didn't know any better,
in those races.
If you didn't know any better, you would think he just couldn't handle pressure. So goofy things happen. He runs off. He gets into the traffic in the elusive quality. I feel like if you're like me and you like him today, you're picking and betting him on the come a little bit. You're hoping.
No.
No?
No. You're not betting him on the come. He's got 100 Beyer in his last start. He's the fastest horse in the race.
He's got to shake that,
I want to
though,
address
Andy.
if you're like me. You try to just slip in that if you're like Anthony, you got bigger problems than that.
Yeah,
but you're also
a
very nice person,
Yeah,
so you've got that
you.
going for you.
I do
No,
worry
you're not
though
betting
now-
this horse in the come. He's run fast races.
He
He's
has,
a horse
but
to beat on paper.
He has that against him, Andy. He throws in some.
Well, he probably should have
clunkers.
won the elusive quality.
Yeah.
He didn't get the best of situations in the poker where he got a little rank early, and that race was dominated by horses closing. He actually ran very well in there. He's the one to beat. I have no problem with him. Rinaldi is dangerous in here, and we'll go to a race that Rinaldi got beaten at the wire in his last race, the Danger's Hour, and my top choice, Delaware. Now, I got the money with Delaware in this race, and that's not why I went back to him. You know I don't do that. But the reality is that despite Rinaldi having the run of the race in here, in a 2-turn mile race, Delaware still was able to run him down. This was a great ride by Manny. Manny did an amazing job getting him over the fence in here. And I'm going to tell you something. I think Delaware ran extremely well last time out, and I don't think it looks like it on paper. That was a ridiculously slow pace. I mean, an absolute and total crawl fest. And I thought he ran very well to finish 4th, beaten just under 3 lengths. Now, the pace is not going to be great in here, but he showed in a 2-turn race at Aqueduct that he can get it done in these situations. And his price is going to be okay. I don't know if he'll be twice the price of Sacred Life, because he's won, and Sacred Life doesn't win. And I'll tell you something about Sacred Life that bothers me. Sacred Life hasn't run in New York since September of 2019. Now, he has run in some good races, but he hasn't run in the New York Stakes, which means Chad Brown has somewhat relegated him to another division.
Yep. Kind of a little.
Wow, you have Delaware not in your top 4.
Yeah, I had I don't want to say a tough time rounding things out in here, but I think I had so tunnel vision on the top 2. I'm using 1s and 3s in here, and I'm going to try and move the chains. That's
were you using Rinaldi only 1 and 3 if the 6 was in the race?
No, I would have opened things up a little bit more. But now that I like Rinaldi whether or not the 6 was in the race. But I think it was a little bit more of a wide open race. Now it looks like it's supposed to line up 1-3, and
Sanctuary City. Can I bet you Delaware beat Sanctuary City?
No, I just wanted a
I'll
little
lay
bit
you
of a
2 to 1.
different look. Nah.
Okay.
Because they're both up against it with the.
Corelli's
with the
a little
pace.
interesting in here. Corelli got a very, very good trip after breaking about 3/4 slow in there, but really worked out a good trip. Maybe a little less distance will help this horse. Ran okay to mile 16. And Corelli does have some races that are fast enough to make him competitive in here. I wouldn't completely dismiss him, as you have. I wonder if Make You Look will be a little more forward here with Tyler. We'll see. Therapist, more of a one-turn horse. Might not be quite good enough to beat these, but not impossible. He did win at the Artie Schiller at around 2 turns.
Honestly, are any of them really impossible in here?
Yeah. Sanctuary City. Logical Myth is a little hard to make.
Logical Myth is a little tough.
Race number 10.
I agree with that.
I was going to change because we had the same picks, but I'm not going to change. The horse to beat in here is owned by our good friend Adam Madcore and his wife Carol, our sponsors from Saratoga Water, and we wish them the best. But Anthony is like me, is a mean man and picked against You Should Be Dancing, who is without question the horse to beat. But Uncle's Gem, who finished well behind her, needed that race, the 4-year-old first-time starter. And we're going to do something we rarely do. We're going to run the video through the gallop out, where the horse who's third to last there in those
Light blue hat,
Charles Fipke, left the screen right now, will gallop out by everybody in the gallop out. Linda Rice, second-time starter. I believe one of these two horses will win this race.
So do I. And here's going to be the.
Here it comes. Here comes the gallop out. Hang on. Keep it rolling, guys. Here comes the number 6 on the outside. There he is, making that little run. Nobody likes a gallop out as much as my friend Anthony Stabile.
No, I'm not the biggest gallop out guy.
You know why I have the 5 third in here?
No.
Well, Warm Shower was a pretty good turf horse, the Dam. She didn't win, but she was okay on the turf.
But there's got to be another reason.
No, she was a lazy F horse. She wore Forgo
I knew there was something.
Bruce Levine actually has won with some turf sprinters, first-time starters. When he's had success with first-time starters in the turf, they've been turf sprinters. Something I learned when I did a podcast with Howard Kravitz the other day, actually. And this horse has a little bit of pedigree. I'm going to use that horse a little bit. What about the rail horse?
Half the Mango M.
I know. Well, Mango M was a turf sprinter.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Jeremiah
There's pedigree
Engelhart.
on that one. I'm going to use those two.
Okay.
You like the 9, Fancy Feline. Oh, Jimmy Bond's going to...
Well, this horse was entered on the turf first time out. It rained off. Being by flat out, they gave the horse a race on the dirt. I thought the horse ran okay. And,
Can I bet you 1 lunch? I'll take the 1 and over the 9 and a lunch, the 5 over the 9.
No, I have the 1 on the board. I'm not doing it. I'll take 5 over 9.
No, you have to bet them both. The package.
No, I'm not taking the horse I have on the screen. That's sick. That's silly.
It's going to be a slow, painful roll for
That's
Anthony
just silly.
to 100 lunches.
It's just silly. You're being silly, Andy.
Slow, painful roll for Anthony Stabile to get to 100. It's been a pleasure. Should we do this again tomorrow?
I guess. First of 20 grade 1s tomorrow. 20 grade 1s.
How many grade 1s?
20.
Tomorrow's the first of 20 grade 1s.
20.
How was breakfast this morning?
It was good. It was fun. Got some visitors. Sat with my man Tom Amos most of the morning. Sat with Tom. Maggie Kimmett came up from Fair Hill. Maggie was sitting with us this morning. It was nice to see her.
Well, that almost helps overcome Amos.
Yes. Well, Amos doesn't sit far from me the whole time. It's good.
Tom Amos is a great man.
Spent a little time with
met
Joel
his
Mott
owner
this morning.
Joel Pleaty, his wife, yesterday.
Met Joel this morning.
Nice
Another one of
two-year-old
his
for
owners,
them.
Andrew.
Microbiome.
Yep.
Nice 2-year-old debut. A 77 buyer, 76, 77 buyer.
Come on
92 buyer for Echo Zulu. Zulu, Echo Zulu. Echo Zulu.
Easy, Echo Zulu.
92
Come on
buyer
out
for
to
that
breakfast. We're having a lot of fun in the morning. Starts at 7 a.m. I get on the mic around 7:30. We'll have a good time. Come on out.
What better way to start your day than with the big A, Anthony Stabile? Once you've spent your morning with Anthony and you want to make it even better, sign up for NyraBets. Head over to NyraBets.com. Use the promo code SPA200. Become a member. Support racing in New York. Keep the money in the game. We'll match $200 of your initial deposit. NyraBets today, $2,000. That's dollars, dinero. Got to opt in. Hit and split. Play the late pick 5 through NyraBets. Opt in. And if you hit it, will split with anyone else. It's at the contest till 5 o'clock today. Go to NYRA.com/contests. It's a live money contest, cash prizes, all sorts of stuff, a date with Anthony Stabile, all the things that anyone could dream of. 1 to 6:30 on FS2 today, covering all the action from Saratoga if you're not able to be with us. But we appreciate those of you that are. We appreciate all of our fans. And I do want to thank all of the players, as they deserve a thank you every day.
Yes.
An unbelievable record opening day handle of just under $22 million, and we can't do it without the bettors. And the bettors are not only, they're our best friends, and without the bettors in this game, there is no game. So thank you so much for supporting us at NYRA. John Imbrial up next with a reprise of the scratches and changes.